Hello, Angie.
Hey, Andy. Andy. Hey, Andrew.
Actually, that's me. Hi, guys.
Hello, how are you? My mom email that I sent you earlier this week. It's to you. Hey, Angie. Can you hear us okay,
Andy, did you say something?
Yeah, can you hear us okay?
Yeah.
Hey, Angie.
Little thing. Get rid of this.
Hey, Hey, Angie.
Let's do this.
I can go ahead and go outside and leave.
Okay, yeah. Hey, Angie, can you hear us okay?
I'm sorry?
Can you hear us okay?
Not really. But then I have trouble hearing to begin with, so that doesn't help.
Okay. I can hear myself echoing in your.
Marty.
Songs that
Andy, test.
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, it's a little echoey, but I can hear you.
I think it's echoing because I can hear myself in Angie's screen. Hello, April. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Jean.
Good morning, good morning. Hi. Go down there. Uh-huh. Hello. Are we here? Am I live?
Days in a row here.
Oh, no way. What was yesterday?
Randy White's retirement. You know, so he hired me. My first job.
You're not.
I got a few years left, I think. Got several years. Good
Good to go.
Are you gonna get started at the same time? Wouldn't you
I
start
would say
along
you
with,
just a friend.
with community development, like
I think you're saying something.
Second year.
2002. Yes, yeah.
Just
When I
go up
really
there,
got into my
like,
first year of church, I remember.
Oh, yeah.
back in April.
Yeah, I did order a better speaker.
Better speaker.
This is made for smaller.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
We've got medication. but not- I don't know. You still have-
You got the Rona, it's going around again.
No, that's.
Oh.
Well,
Well,
there's.
they think it was blue light or, I don't know. She doesn't, but they gave her an antibiotic. Mr.
Yeah. I would have her take the free stuff, so if anybody wants food like that. You know.
It's one of space. One of your
A
space.
lot of space for small
Maybe
brains.
it's space. I only came for the donuts. I knew there would be donuts. Knew it.
I wiped them out, picked up the last of the donuts, that's what Slim Pickens. Hey guys, we're going to start in about 2 minutes, we'll wait for a few more to log on, but it's good to see you.
It's hard to hear you. There's like an echo, Andy. Maybe it's just me.
It's also me. It's hard for Jackie to hear, but I am driving to the office and
Okay.
I'm on the way, but I'm still away. So, but it is hard for me to hear also. There's a lot of echo.
Mhm.
Does anyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't know how to solve the echo.
Maybe there's a setting on
Is
here.
it still?
It
echoing?
does.
It's
It
echoing.
helps when people speak more slowly. It's easier to overcome the echo.
I think it's probably just the room, you know,
No,
there's,
that was good. Whoever just talked, that was very clear.
I'm on Zoom with you.
Okay.
That's
who
probably why,
is-
but
Who's
but-
talking then?
that's me, Allison, and I'm probably talking too much. But what I was thinking to say to Andy was, I think it's the room that they're in. It's a cavernous room, right? So there's probably going to be a little bit of echo. If you guys can just get as close as you can to the speaker, that'd be great.
All right, that sounds like at least a partial answer.
Test, how is this? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes,
That's better, yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, good to see you guys. Good morning.
Good morning.
So there's only a handful of us in the room.
I only see 2.
Well, Ari's hiding.
Oh. Hi, Artie.
Artie's in the room and Andy's in the room, and this is Jackie, and I'm on my way to the room.
Okay, sounds good. We have a couple of people who are either sick or double booked, so we have a few people who are coming in this morning.
So, just to be clear, since I'm running so fast, this is an executive committee meeting. Is that true?
No, this is the CEDP All Partner meeting.
This is the all partner meeting. Oh, all right. Okay. I'm sorry. That's very helpful. Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you. Okay.
Hi, Marcy. Good morning, all. Well, let's just jump in. Jackie, you can just,
You're breaking up, Andy. You're breaking up. I don't know if it's you or if it's us.
I think it's,
okay. Let me move. Jose, is this better?
That sounds better.
EMP is getting a better speaker next week, so
I think your voice carries better than mine too. You got a strong voice. I didn't see better. I'm
It's tough, wow.
gonna yell at you guys. Is this better? Hi.
Hey, everybody, sorry I can't be there in person today, but I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay. Since I'm driving, if people could identify themselves when they speak to start with, actually, I think I'm gonna go back to the office and do this by Zoom like everyone else so I can see what's going on. Okay, so who just spoke?
That was me, Jackie. It's nice to see you. This is Joe White.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Joe. Okay,
All right, guys, we're gonna get started. We're just gonna jump in, and I don't know if this is gonna be hard to go around the room and do because of the sound, so you guys can tell us. But we're just going to kind of popcorn around the room, say hello, say who you are, and then share your favorite holiday tradition. But in the interest of time, I'm actually gonna set a 1-minute timer. So you're gonna have to think of one really quickly and just be concise with it. And when that timer goes off, then you can just call on the next person. Andrew, because your voice carries, you're starting.
What am I saying? Sorry.
Because your voice carries. Oh, what are you sharing?
Yeah.
Who you are, where you're from, favorite holiday tradition. Steve.
Amplified, every neighborhood partnership, and my favorite holiday tradition is probably building, it started with my brother. We would build a fort out of blankets and, you know, attach a little Christmas, we'd make a little Christmas fort in our bedroom, hang stuff in the fan in our bunk beds. So that was really fun, and I've carried on that tradition with the kids. So they'll do a little Christmas fort in their room the night before Christmas. So, or maybe 2 days before. So yeah, a fun little family tradition.
Just call on.
All right, Lauren with Face here. My father-in-law is living with us now, and he is a former beekeeper. So we have a lot of honey at the house. And he makes these little honey bears, and then we give them out to neighbors and friends and family, and it's a fun thing to do. And it solves my problem with how to get people Christmas gifts too.
Hi, everyone. Ivan Paz with Better Blackstone. My favorite tradition is going to visit my dad in Michoacan, Mexico, and participate in the community's Posada celebration, which is a celebration between the 16th and the 23rd. And every day, the priest and the church organizes the community to sort of reenact the nativity story. And then after the homily, a lot of fireworks go off and everybody drinks tequila, beer, and a bunch of pozole. Some people are.
Wow, mine's not as fun as that. So Artie Padilla, Central Valley Community Foundation. Hello, everyone. My holiday tradition has been to help. I've been at Susan B for 20 years, so I helped them with their holiday program, but they stopped having their holiday program since COVID. So, but my other tradition is making sure that all the first graders have a birthday or a Christmas present when they go on their break.
Andy Lambert, Fresno, CEDP. My favorite, we have several. One that's been consistent with the kids is we make cinnamon rolls, or I make cinnamon rolls every Christmas morning. And we listen to Elvis holiday record while we open gifts.
Do you take out?
Okay, so here's my other one. I can be concise. So my husband and I, 14 years of church ministry, many of them were mega churches. So we had like 5 or 6 services within a 2-day period. And then we lived far from family, so we wouldn't travel on New Year's or Christmas Eve to be home. So, and we wouldn't have time to cook. So after the last service, we get home probably 8 or 9 o'clock, and we would get Chinese food. So we did years of just Chinese food on Christmas Eve. Next time. It was so good. Keith, who you are, where you're from, and favorite holiday tradition. And you have to yell.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Oh, Keith Berthold, Elizabeth Ministry, Better Blackstone. Favorite holiday tradition is we were first married, we moved after a couple of years to New Mexico. And we were by ourselves, and we traveled down to Albuquerque. And it was Thanksgiving, and the only place in Albuquerque that we could find was a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
And they actually made a turkey dinner, cranberry sauce and everything. It had a little kind of, Asian feel to it, but it was great. And we still talk about that being one of our favorite meals.
Talk about bringing you back.
Yeah.
Just go through. Okay, Angie, you're up.
Did you say Angie?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Hi, guys. Angie Isaac from Jane Addams, and my college. It's not really a tradition because we do it pretty much every Sunday. Family gets together. We eat, and then we get together and play a lot of games. So it just seems like it's a lot more special. We're not focused so much on the gift than we are on playing games and just having fun.
Jan.
My favorite holiday tradition is New Year's Day. In the Japanese community, New Year's Day is a significant event. It's a family event, and we have a huge Japanese/American feast that lasts most of the day. People snacking as they cook, and snacking after they finish eating in the middle of the day. Everybody contributes, from the little kids to the older kids, in preparing the food. Yeah, it's really a lot of fun. I'm having a little trouble with, we're going to have to move it to December 31st this year because of family obligations. I'm going, wait, it's not New Year's. But other than that, it's going to be good. We've only missed the one COVID year, so we're excited about it this year. Allison.
Well, just a second, Jan, can you describe the Japanese American fusion cuisine you're talking about?
Yeah, we have sushi and barbecued pork tenderloin and beef sticks and shrimp things and Chinese chicken salad and cucumber salad and on and on and on and on.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
Well, generally all I do is fix the sauces that people need and provide the home. So I don't do any day of cooking, but I do corral the grandkids into doing the desserts.
All right, that sounds great. I am not a cook, so that sounds really great.
Yeah.
Allison Walker, Southwest Fresno Development Corp. Years ago, I used to work for the LA Mission, and my favorite tradition, which I don't do anymore because I'm not in LA, and as time has gone by, I haven't done it anymore, but it's my favorite kind of historical tradition, was to serve in the morning and early morning breakfast. And it was just the most enriching experience. I used to spend a lot of time with the kids doing the face painting pieces, and we did a big gift wrap and a big gift give for toys. And it was just such a meaningful time. I remember taking my children when they were very, very young. And it just left a wonderful impression upon me. So of the season. And I haven't done it in a long time, but it is a tradition that it's nice to be reminded of. I need to start doing stuff like that again.
Allison, would you like to call on someone?
Marcy.
Hello, everyone. Sorry I couldn't be there. I think it's Marcy from St. Rest. A tradition that I'm not finding fun is getting pneumonia. I keep getting, every year I've started getting pneumonia. It's the weirdest thing. So I am recovering from that. But other than that, my favorite thing is to make pasteles with my dad and my sisters. April.
Good morning. Well, after having my husband be in church ministry for 25 years, and we had all the busyness of church, for us to celebrate as a family, we would always take, and we continue to do so, neighbors or friends or cousins, and we always take like a caravan and we go to see the Living Nativity in Riverdale and enjoy doing that. Sometimes we'll even go through it twice. So that's kind of our Christmas Eve night family tradition. And then my husband also makes cinnamon rolls every holiday for us. So those are probably our two. That doesn't matter. I think we started doing it before Jacob was even born in Riverdale, and we continue to try and go every year. Jackie.
I think our favorite is a combination of Thanksgiving and the beginning of Advent. We usually have our Thanksgiving on Sunday after Thanksgiving, so that all the other families can have their Thanksgiving with the other spouse's family. But when we get together for our Thanksgiving, it really is the beginning of Advent. It's decorating the Christmas tree, bringing, the little Twinkie things from the 99-cent store that little kids like, or the little globes. People get, usually we get a whole lot of one thing, different people do. And then the kids can start decorating. And it's just a good beginning to the holidays that gets us in the spirit of what's going to happen. And we exchange numbers, because we don't buy Christmas presents for everybody anymore. So we exchange names, and that's pretty much it. We have a great time. The kids are wild and they eat too much sweets, and they usually go to sleep before the adults leave because we've been drinking wine.
Thanks, Jackie. You want to choose someone?
Choose for me, because I don't have that screen up right now.
All right, Jose.
First of all, I kind of want to talk a little bit about the reason for the season. I think that Christmas is an opportunity to say thank you. In the Catholic tradition, there's what is called Misa de Gallo. I don't know how that's translated, but it's a mass that happens in the evening. And it's also the opportunity to say thanks. And I actually, at some point I was going to share with you, but I'll say now, one of the things I say thanks for is the tremendous success we had in our Trail Bases for Prosperity event, where we had about 250 people, and we had a lot of dignitaries, a lot of community members, a lot of business owners. It was a wonderful event, and thank you all that were able to attend that event. That's all I have. Thank you.
Hey, Joe, I think you might be the last one. Hey, Joe. Can you hear me?
Sorry, I was trying to get myself on mute there. My favorite tradition, every Christmas for the last 7 or 8 years, we have gone on to Huntington Boulevard, Christmas morning, first thing, and we invite a bunch of neighbors to join us, and we just sing 2 Christmas hymns, a cappella, and then drink hot chocolate. Takes like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then we all go back home. But people will come in their pajamas, and it's just a little fun little neighbor thing on Christmas morning.
That's very cool. Thank you, Joe. Well, thank you all for sharing. Yeah, it's awesome to get to know you guys a little bit better in that way. This morning, we have a little bit of a full agenda. We were going to start with Claire, our new CEDP partner, sharing a little bit about her area and her organization. But I don't see her on this morning. And I think a lot of us got to meet her at the last executive director gathering here at ENP. But I will make sure to include a photo of her and a little blurb about Tower Neighborhood Association. So who they are is AP, I don't know, organization, association that he had kind of the dream of starting over a year ago when his team started sitting in on our meetings. And so they formalized over this last year a little bit further, hired Claire, and she's now representing that neighborhood. Next time she's in the meeting, I'll let those of you who haven't got to meet her, who have more questions specifically about that organization, ask her questions. Last week, I sent you guys an email that kind of had an update of all the operational and organizational pieces that we've been creating this past year, all in one place. So throughout the year in various meetings, I've been introducing each one. We've talked about the onboarding system. We've alluded to mutual agreements coming together and us kind of clarifying who we are and where we're going. I think there's a handbook that was created. So if you didn't get that email, let me know and I will forward it to you so that you can have a short description of each of those pieces. But the one I want to highlight today is the mutual agreements. So starting in the new year, I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see it. And then if you want to also pull it up from the email that was sent last week, I'm just going to kind of bullet point a few of the things that, just things that we're committing to as a partnership and that we're inviting you guys to commit to alongside us, and then open it up for questions, concerns, ideas. I know that this is a new approach that we're having starting in the new year. And it's just our best attempt to continue to formalize, be clear with our vision and expectations, and also have a partnership that is continuing to grow in a strong way. So this first part here is not new. This is the framework of what we've committed to, especially with the Kresge grant, is our outline of community engagement and commitment to that. So that's a brief description of that. Much of this will not be needless. So as we go through this document, it starts with partner commitments, and this just is our the first chunk of it is CEDP member organizations, just what you guys are committed to as organizations. And I'm just going to kind of go through and read the bullet points in a shorter way, but please feel free to interrupt me as I'm going if you have questions along the way. So I don't have to go through this full document for you guys to wait to the end. So we can have a conversation as we go. Yeah. All right, so what we are committed to as member organizations, the foundation of who we are that we continue to beat the drum of is commitment to community engagement with the residents within our neighborhood. So that is this first one here. The second one is staying aligned with the DRIVE initiative. Some of you guys are intimately connected, and so you're aligned in that way. And then what we're going to continue to do is provide DRIVE updates for you so that you can be aware of what's happening and ask questions of Artie and anyone else who's involved. And so it could be as simple as that. That's what alignment looks like us. Be aware and continue to, unless you have anything greater to say, continue to be connected to what's and informed to what's going on in DRIVE. Regular meeting attendance. We'll talk about this a little bit further down, but to us, that means 6 gatherings a year. That's a commitment of sitting in on any one of the things that we offer. I know that you guys are receiving invitations all the time for gatherings, meetings, one-on-ones, workshops. And so it could be any one of those. And in theory, every other month. And so that's just our best way to stay relationally connected and know what's going on and build relationship that makes for strong resource sharing and awareness of other neighborhoods and healthy partnership. Regular contribution to CEDP partners. This could look like leading a conversation, a workshop, hosting an event, or even sharing a resource. And then uphold the spirit of collaboration with the community and city partners. Before I move on to the hub commitments, are there any questions there, or any things that need clarifying? See, I'm getting caught up in like the conversation out there and I kind of want to join. Okay, so CEDP hub staff. So continue to implement CDP member partner communications. You've seen those in newsletters and the things that we've developed. And continue to provide fiscal agency that has been Metro and will continue to be Fresno Metro for this next year. Maintain the organizational capacity handbook. That is just basically my commitment to say, as things get developed, we are going to continue to organize it in a way that is clear and available to you, so that we're not having to reinvent the wheel every year, but having the foundation. And then lastly, host integrated ABCD trainings. It's going to look different every year, and I'll talk a little later about what next year will look like for community engagement. Are there any questions or any things to add there? Okay, great. So as we move down to the bottom, there's a discontinuation of partnership. This list basically aligns with what I just named. So if any of those things are just misaligned or not a great fit with your organization and where you guys are going in the next year, then those are things that's great and we can talk about. Actually, we had a member organization firm this week, after receiving the mutual agreements and reading over it. She did decide that capacity wasn't a fit and alignment with community engagement wasn't necessarily a fit in this next season. And so she opted out of leading CEDP partnership. And so we're currently walking her through that. But at any point, if that feels misaligned or a capacity fit for you guys, you have the same option. So that's what this bottom portion is us just saying, if any of those things are too big of a commitment or not in alignment with where you're going, then that is okay. Then there's a formal process of being removed from the partnership. And that is it. Oh, go ahead, Jose.
Yeah, I wanted to ask a couple of quick questions. One is something that I don't see somewhere is the joint effort in seeking funding for the member organizations, something for that. Maybe you have it somewhere. So that would be something important. The other one is the part that I don't understand is on 2.3, item 2.8.3. It talks about discontinuation of partnership, and it says lack of community alignment, creating a hostile community environment, unethical misconduct, both as a leader and organization. The question is, what is the process of going through that? Because at times we can have conflicts and disagreements, and the question is, when those issues come up, and they have come up, what is the protocol, the procedure to evaluate those issues and have a process for making a determination whether in fact some of those categories or events do happen? So what is the process for that?
Yeah, I'll start and just say that by the time, if we ever got to 3, that means we probably had about 4 conversations before that, talking about, what we see as hostile or what we see as unethical misconduct. And we're already processing that with the person and organization and kind of having, and trying to resolve it, or just agree that, okay, I mean, if this is how you want to continue to do community type work, then we will agree to disagree and part ways. So I would say, I'm trying, I don't know if I want to give an example of what it would look like, but if this is pretty extreme, but if a partner leader said, out in public to the media, we don't really need to be thinking about equity and serving the Black community because they don't need our help. You know, that doesn't align with our characteristics of equity and justice. And that's extreme, right? But, you know, but then I would say if we made that comment, we would go to that person and say, hey, let's talk, what did you mean by that? You know, let's talk that through and let's talk about why we don't agree with that. And there's dialogue about it, and maybe it's resolved. I'm gonna guess most of the time it's gonna be resolved. You know, but if for some reason there's a new stance that an organization has and it truly does not align with, I would say not even CEDP's, you know.
Okay, you know, I can't distinguish from here to know who's talking. Is that Artie, the speaker right now?
Yeah.
Okay, but still, you know, when issues come up, there's always a lot of sides to a story, and at times things happen because of misinformation or whatever, you know, and there's not always a malice factor involved. There's sometimes you know, issues, and we already had that experience ourselves. As you may remember, there's an issue that I want to get into right now, but we did have an issue that I felt it wasn't properly resolved. So that's the reason why I ask about process. A process means, okay, so maybe we get an independent person that reviews that information. And because sometimes there are issues that actually relate to one organization taking the funding of another organization, which is really not a good approach to things. That's just an example, but that's the reason why, for the healthy of everyone and the harmony that we want to have, it would be nice to have a kind of independent process, and hopefully they'll never be used, or maybe it'll be more seldom than you know than we would want it to be. But having a process, if you identify that, then we need to say, okay, well, how does that policy get implemented? That's what I'm asking.
Thank you, Jose. I think that's wise. I think, so as you will see right here, it's not that we won't engage in conflict. It's that we're asking to engage in healthy conflict with the spirit of unity. And so you're right, that is very big. And we could start, maybe this next year, we can start putting some more framework, maybe some resources for training of what it looks like to have conflict style of conversation. I know EMP recently went through something similar that we may be able to offer and provide. But at this point, I wonder if our best approach for situations that maybe you mentioned or any areas of confusion might be to invite us hub staff into a conversation where we can partner with you and process what healthy conflict looks like. So we can start there until there's a formal process, but you're right, we don't actually have a bullet point outline of what healthy conflict looks like, and when there is a spirit of disunity or any hostile environments that are being created, how that's going to be handled. So at this point, we don't know that. But thank you, Jose. Yeah, are there any other questions? This doesn't have to be the last space that we talk about it. If questions come up, or as you read through things similar to Jose, there might be more clarifying questions that are needed, then please feel free to reach out. As always, you can call or text whenever you want. The hope and the expectation is that this is signed at the beginning of each year. And so for us, that looks like January 1st. If you guys wouldn't mind signing that and emailing it over to me, then I'm just going to have them within our partner folders as a commitment to each other. And we'll plan on doing that every year. Allison.
I just wanted to reference Jose, the other half of Jose's question. I think he said he was looking for language around fundraising and in the document. And I didn't know if you could go back through that. My hope is that it's not only, we not only expect, you all to generate leads and write grants. Thank you, Keith and Andy and everyone for the work you've done recently. Really appreciate those grants that you just made, but also for us to stay on the lookout as well. for potential funding opportunities that we can bring to the group. So I think that's a mutual expectation, both of CEDP and all of us as members.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Allison. I did put a line in here you can see on bullet point D here. We did say that we'll initiate additional project services. Well, then also it says as new additional funding is obtained. And so we will continue to pursue that. And I love that, Allison. I think it's wise that partners do the same. There has been a few, Chinatown, Jan, I know that you took a strong initiative there recently. Andrew's doing a similar thing. So we've kind of started to do that as a partnership. It's not written into the mutual agreement, so it's not a formal expectation, but it's always welcome and needed. So yeah, that's great. Thank you, Allison.
And just a comment on that, I think it's really good in this context. Anybody can initiate.
Yeah.
If you see a grant and you say, I haven't got the capacity, but I think it's a good grant for me and maybe other partners, get it onto the table. Let's look at it. We're not all knowing and all seeing and all doing. We can, you know, I love to work with other people and stuff and help generate lots of resources for them.
Well, I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough really quick. I know most of you guys have seen this. I'll be quick about it because most of you have seen it, but I want you guys to know where to find these documents on a regular basis. Just so that you guys know that you always have these resources available, and should ever you need to reference them and or pass them on to other people like your board, you have access to them. So if we go to the Fresno CEDP website, there is a button on the top corner here that says Partner Resources. When you click that, it's going to lead you to a place that's password protected. That password is Fresno CEDP, all one word, all lowercase. You should only have to type it in once and then your computer will save it. But this information is also at the bottom of every newsletter. So if you go to this Partner Resource Center area, as I have time, I'm going to continue to develop this, but at this point, it's where it's housing all of our information. You can see there's housing resources here. I'm just going to click it really quick so you can glance at it, but I won't go into any of the resources. You guys can do that as you need it. So here's the strategy document that's available, citywide resources that are available, and previous meetings. And then the CEDP General Operations is the area that's housing our onboarding process, the all board retreat information, onboarding process, the CEDP governance structure, the handbook that I referenced earlier, the mutual agreements that we just went over, the new partner application. And so this is what we use as a start to anyone who is interested in joining our partnership. This is available to you guys to share. This hasn't at this point been available to the public at all. So it's not posted, we don't market our partnership. So this hasn't been shared around, but you are more than welcome to invite partners who you think are a fit by sending them this link here. And this is my trigger to reach out to them and officially start the onboarding process. So it's just a short form here. And then ABCD framework information. So here's training resources for you. E&P, Daniel actually gave me a whole sheet more. So this page will be built out a little bit further soon. So right now, those are the training pieces we have. And then lastly, at the bottom here, we have the CEDP blog. Right now, it's really the archived newsletter. So anytime you want to reference a newsletter, you can go to that area and they're all saved there. It's access to me and our YouTube channel. This is where I upload all of our archived. Oh, I actually saw that recently that I need to fix it. I totally forgot until this moment. But we have a CEDP YouTube channel, and this is where I upload all of the recordings. So this meeting will be there. So you can access all of the archived meetings at any time. Look how happy Ivan is. And then lastly, this is a resource of vendors. This one will be built out further as well. This actually was in, a lot of you guys requested a directory or a resource, a vendor resource area. So that was something you wanted to see in the next year when you filled out the feedback form. And so good news is we already have something like this started, but I will use the specific feedback that you gave in that survey to sharpen what's displayed here. So you have access to all of that stuff on the partner resource page located at our website. Before we move on, is there any questions around here, any comments, any thoughts of what to add, what's not helpful? We don't have to take a lot of time. You can also, we can talk about it in our one-on-one. Yeah, go ahead.
I'd just like to say, I just think that's great. All the work that you guys have put in to create an infrastructure online and resourcing, it's really looks awesome, looks amazing. And I just want to cheerlead you guys. Thank you for all the work that you're doing on the back end to make the work that we do even better. So thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you. All right, friends. Well, that's where you can access all of the information at any point. And then I'm just going to do a quick plug for a save the date. We do have a community engagement workshop. It really is going to be a series of learning conversations from each other. It's not going to be a lot of facilitation and training and information given to you. You're going to have an opportunity to sit with your CEDP group. So group 1, 2, and 3 will sit together and then work on a logic model of goal setting for the year. And we're just giving you a space for that. So save the date. You are going to get more information soon, but the date is planned for January 18th at 9 a.m. And that will be an in-person meeting, and you will spend a lot of your time in your CEDP group. Sweet. I am going to now pass this to Andrew. Oh, unless you have a question. Oh, no, you just
Me?
Yeah. All right. Andrew, take it away.
All right. Did you want to give context of why we did this or anything?
I don't know.
No. Let's see. Okay.
2 letters, simple.
I'm probably gonna need your computer.
Not long enough to pass it across the space.
Or,
Do you want me to be sharing with you?
well, yeah, I need my, all right, so wanted to show you, has anybody had time to check out the nonprofit learning labs? You got an email yesterday about it. Anybody had a chance to check it out? Yes. No?
I did. This is April. I got on, used the password with the code that they sent me, and it still seems like it doesn't recognize me as a member, but I was able to kind of just look around and things.
Okay, and there is some tricks. So what I wanted to, so where this came from, we got some extra resources to support CEDP, and we were talking about what are ways that we could use it. EMP has been using nonprofit learning labs. I think, I'm trying to remember where we found it, but I've had, I think, 3 staff members at least do classes, and we are looking at to have some other folks do them this next year. And so we were just gonna pay for it ourselves. And then this opportunity came up to use this as a collaborative. And the executive team thought it'd be a great investment. And so we bought a package. I think it's 20 or so memberships. And it's a really great resource. They're basically a nonprofit training center. And so they focus their trainings around facilitation, fundraising, strategic planning, communication, volunteer management. So it's really, really robust stuff. What I want to show you, you got a link to sign in. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to this membership area, and we have, so there are like some steps you really do need to pay attention to. So we got a premium and all access membership. So that gets you access to pretty much everything. You click that here under the membership tab, and you may want to do it right now or maybe not. The first time you sign in, the email Andy set up for you, and this is just for executive directors. If you're part of a team on the call, your executive director, you're going to use their email to log in. So anybody at EMP is using Andrew at Every Neighborhood, and the password that we set up. The first time that you do it, they just say, click here, click this, need a password. And you click email password. I'm not going to do it to set Andy's, but you'll get your password and then you set up your own password, right? So that's the very first time you log in. From then on, you would go to premium and all access login, and then you click login here. And now you're into the portfolio, right? You're into the account. A couple things I want to show you, and the first place that I would probably go, you see different kind of buttons to press. There's a lot of stuff going on this page. What I've started with first is this nonprofit resource library. So this is all the webinars, all the trainings that they have done thus far. And so it's nice because you could just start with what have they already done. You don't have to wait to sign up for anything, any past event. The thing to pay attention here is you see it says to log in, enter the password. So it says archive 2019. That's the password get in. So you'll see me have to put that in here. So if you click here, access the resource archive. And then as you go down, now here are the categories. So social media, DEI, marketing, leadership development, grant management, strategic planning. I recently did one on, I think it was under strategic planning. So now it's asking me for that password, right? So archive 2019, you put that in. And then now you get all their last section of strategic planning workshops. And on each of these pages, you have the recording and the materials. So any kind of PDF or slide presentation, kind of something like that. I am working on my budgeting. So we are a calendar year budget. So I'm working on our budgeting for EMP. So this one, actually, I already even watched. I went in, I'm like, hey, what things should I be thinking about? This is my second year really doing a comprehensive budget. So clicked on this, a really, really good budgeting workshop from this gal, Stephanie. She runs a financial accounting company that supports nonprofits. She did a really good job. Here's the video. I could, watch this and engage with, her content. And then also the slides are here. So I could, download the slides from the presentation, have all the resources as a PDF. So I've already watched and downloaded resources for two of these trainings. And then even from here, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go check out her website. Her website has some really helpful information and was really, really useful. So this is already done, pre-recorded trainings that you can sign up for at any moment, right? Thoughts, questions there?
Andy, thank you.
So that's
Just
that.
awesome tools.
Yeah, so let me show you one more feature. So the other thing is there are upcoming trainings and events that you can sign up for. So let's see here. These are workshops that are happening. So upcoming is I think one or two of my staff members is going to do this effective staff supervision, how to be a better supervisor. So they clicked here to register for the workshop. You fill in your information, right? And which one you want to attend. So in December, or they have another one, so it's coming up this week. I messed that up again. I don't know where it should have.
Did you click register?
Okay, so the confusing piece, this is the only catch that I've learned because I've made this mistake multiple times. I just made it again. If you click this one that says register, it from right there, it does not enter, it looks like you have to pay. So right here, look, the workshop cost is $200. You have to click this button right here, this register for workshops button. Then it'll have access, and then it's a free, it's free for you. So that's the major catch I've learned over doing this is you click this register, not these.
Well, and then also because there's a front end side of the website that anybody, if you're not a member, you can always sign up for their workshops. So then you would just pay for individual workshops. So you have to be on the member side, not the front end side to register.
You have to be logged in here.
And the links at the bottom, yeah, you have to be on that side of it. And click that specific button because the links at the bottom that Andrew just referred to and got confused by is still the front end, yeah, the public side of the website.
So you have to click this one, all right? So register for workshop. Don't click these ones. So that is the confusing piece I've run into multiple times where I'm like, I shouldn't have to pay. Well, it's because I need to click this one. It looks different. The sign up is totally different. You click here to join, and then it gets you.
Thank you.
The passwords are based on every year that was at archive 2019.
I would imagine when they change that, they probably haven't changed it for 3 years, right? Yeah. So again, ton from board stuff to strategy, social media, all these are coming up. Here's the dates for them that you can sign up. So yeah, really good resources. And then if you ever, they're really quick on response too. So this email here, program at Nonprofit Learning Lab, I think every time they've gotten back to me within the day, if I run into an issue or have a question, they're pretty quick, so.
I think there's even a side, I did this. There's an area where you can sign up for training and you meet with the program staff via Zoom and you can answer any specific questions. I met with them on Monday, they were incredibly helpful. So when you log in, you'll see an area where you can like sign up for a training. You want it, but this is basically what it is, so good job.
Yeah, so I would imagine what I would think, just as we've talked about it, I would watch a couple on your own, and then it may be worth, you know, with either Andy, she could set it up, or maybe one of you want to host one and say, hey, I'm gonna watch this, how to, there's one I think I'm doing in January on how to think through earned income like budgets and how to budget for you know, where you're charging folks for a service, like how to think through that. If you want to host that and invite CEDP members to watch it with you and then have a conversation after, I'm sure that could be some shared learning. But again, some of us just lead out on doing that. Don't wait for Andy to coordinate it for us. If you're going to watch one and want to invite others, I think that's a great way to build team and connection and then share ideas or, you know, things after too.
Sammy, food's always good too.
Yeah, I have food. Yeah, you need to bring Jan's Christmas food. Yeah.
Jan always has to be there. Sweet. Thank you, Angel. We're gonna have Keith share a little bit on just the greater pulse of his awareness of economic, I don't know, the pulse on the economic future is what Keith is gonna share. But before we move on, does anybody have any questions, comments on the learning lab?
Well, I think what Andrew and Andy just shared and this whole idea of building capacity is so incredibly important right now. I mentioned before, I hate to be redundant, but I'll be redundant because I think things are actually worse and better. And so everybody needs to be kind of on their guard, and that's going to be almost everything that we've experienced the last 10 years since the economy started to recover from the Great Recession has been low inflation, and it's been the government continuing to pump money into the economy. And, you know, it's been a real good environment. The world, except for the wars that we created in the Middle East, have been, you know, pretty innocuous in terms of price, you know, price increases, et cetera, et cetera. But we're on this new ramp up for inflation. And I'm old enough to have lived through one of these things. And it's deleterious. And it absolutely kills, you know, people without means. It's really deleterious to low income families because they're forced to pay 10, 20, 30% more, right? And so our stakeholders are going to be under pressure. And then we're going to be under pressure as providers of services to these guys because the government cannot provide as much money. So you can see it happening right now. So I apologize again for being redundant, but take California, $97 billion surplus this fiscal year, which ends on June 30th of 2023. They're forecasting a $25 billion deficit. So it's going to be a $122 billion swing from surplus to deficit. Are they going to be able to put out as many grants? No. They'll probably have layoffs. There'll probably be state agencies that start to experience layoffs and budget stress, right? And it's going to probably even be worse than that because they, you know, in California, a lot of their surplus comes from capital gains taxes on stocks and bonds and real estate. And those markets are under pressure to go down. So there's not going to be as much capital. So it's just, anyway, think about that. You've got now divided government in Washington. There's no way they're going to get as much done. Some people are cheering that, but for us used to getting, you know, a lot of big bills. So the money that's in the pipeline right now from the federal government is likely all you're going to see. So you really want to identify what those resources are and go after them. There's still going to be grant making in 2023, but I think that's going to change in 2024. There's maybe 3 years of famine for us, you know, starting in 24 because all the stimulus they put into the system in 21 and 22 starts to evaporate. The way it affects our philanthropies who've been very generous, they are basically funding this year for stock market performance in 2020. And so next year maybe is a little bit okay because 2021 was a pretty good year. Most of the forecasts from people that are actually fairly reasonable that I've read over the last 30 years, 40 years, are suggesting that the markets probably decline on the order of 20% and don't necessarily recover next year. So philanthropies who have all these investments that are tied back to these equities and those kinds of things, they start to lose capacity to fund at the same level. So what I'm telling you is the feds, the state, and philanthropies are all going to be a little bit less capacity to give us money. So the way we run our businesses has to be very astute. And I think what this whole thing with the nonprofit learning lab and all the ways we can be efficient is very important. And the economy just isn't going to be as robust. You know, we're seeing it right now, but our central bank is trying to cause a recession. That's their goal, is to literally wring inflation out of the system, which is being embedded in wages and services and everything else right now, is to cause a recession and higher unemployment. That is not the scenario we've had for the last 10 years in this country. And then globally, everybody's kind of picking sides. So China and Russia over here in their orbit, US and its orbit, which means globalization, which has been lower prices and better economies, is shrinking. So there's a whole bunch of things here that we can survive, but it's just going to cost you a lot more. And you have to be aware of the fact there's not going to be as many resources to fund your higher costs. Does that make sense? It's not been that way for 10 years. Allison can speak to this. She kind of knows this game. This is the reality of macroeconomics and globalization. We've had the wind in our backs, and all of a sudden it's flipping around. It's going to start blowing in our face. So all I want to say is all these things that are being provided to, and the things that you can provide and share are really critical now to get to some form of resilience and sustainability with a lower amount of revenue, or, you know, just knowing that things will come in. And I think it's a good time just to be aware of that so that you don't either hire too many people, you know, or you know if you're going to hire them, you have to let them go, you know, that kind of stuff. If that makes sense. So it's just a different mindset. It's just a different mindset. I don't know if Artie wants to comment about that or Alice wants to comment about that, but I just want to make you aware of it because I get concerned. I'm trying to advise, you know, my organizations as well. Just don't assume a continuation of past trends. You know, begin to get ahead of that a little bit and see where this thing's headed. And the hockey puck is going downhill from here. It's not going where we want. So I don't know if you want to comment about that. Allison, you know what I'm talking about. You got to comment on that?
I'm in agreement with everything you're saying. I mean, it's, you know, the headwinds are coming. And, you know, from what we learn in economics, you know, inflation really is too many dollars in the system chasing too few goods. And so, like you said, the stimulus dollars that came out to rescue the economy from, you know, households through small business, all the way through state, all the way through government entities. So, you know, they just blanket it and, you know, let the dams flow because people needed cash to make it. I mean, we had to prop up our economy, but there were some, you know, issues with that. The Fed came out, you know, early on in the when they were releasing stimulus and saying we probably should slow this down. There should be some kind of quantitative easing of how we rescue the economy. I don't think we listened, and there was a lot of desperation and a lot of pain. So I think you're exactly right. What we're seeing now is just the blowback from that. The tailwinds are leaving, and now the headwinds are coming. And I think you raised a really important point that because government budgets are flush now doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. And philanthropy is going to have to step in. You know, we've seen some major giving from folks like Mackenzie Scott and her 20 million to Fresno Unified, and you know, and others that have made, you know, the Irvine Foundation, all the major giving. Thank goodness for that. But you know, like you said, they're giving based, well, she is, I guess most philanthropies are giving based on the interest on their principle. So if the economy is not doing well, that's going to shrink. So I think you just bring up some great points that we just have to be more efficient, work together. This $1 million that the city has allocated to us, I really want to sit down with this group and with you, Keith, certainly, to talk about how we leverage that and how we bring in our army of volunteers to help stretch those dollars. Very concerned about that. And like you said, starting something that we can't sustain is something we want to avoid. So thank you for sharing that. Kind of it's not a doomsday scenario, but just you know, a caution, right? There's cautionary tale. And you are old enough to have been through this a few times, but I have too. So I think we are, if we're smart about it, you know, we can make sure we take care of each other so that hopefully this group, if people do encounter issues or problems or challenges, we can bring it back here and help one another. That's it from me. Thank you, Keith.
Can I make a comment, Keith? I think the future, listening to you and Allison, and the reality of personally knowing what's happening with stocks, I think this is the time to really consider how asset-based community development can change the plight, the condition of people who have been in all these programs and are going to lose a lot of that funding and a lot of that support. People inherently know that if we're in it together and we take care of ourselves and we share with others, we can make it. There's hope that comes out of that. I grew up in poverty, so I think we still need to look to the outside funding and all of that. But as we kind of wean ourselves back from that, we need to look at the assets of our people, our community, how we can better.
You muted yourself, Jackie.
Everyone does need to both give and receive. And I think there's a lot of resource that we have not tapped because it sure is a lot easier and more defined and manageable to deal with money that comes in the form of cash that you can turn into what you need. So this may be a gift in disguise. We may, being asset-based, be able to take an initial look around at the resources of our people, our geographical area, and forge something together that'll create that synergy, that we might be faster out of the gate than some others who have never done that. Anyway, that's just a comment.
Yeah, that economic resilience, I mean, that is something that you can create over time. And just, I think Allison was alluding to this, we've heard from the Irvine Foundation that their funding is gonna be shortened because the stock market's impacted them. So, I mean, a lot of their money that they dish out is from revenue that's created from their investments, right? So, it affects everyone, and I think we'll start to see smaller philanthropic grant sizes and fewer of them, probably in the next couple of years.
It's just to get ahead of it, to make sure that you don't make, like the 4 agreements. What's the second one or the third one? Don't make assumptions. Just don't make any assumptions.
I think it's helpful. I mean, I haven't even, obviously it makes sense when you're talking about how the Irvine and other these foundations, their income is 2 years back. So, I mean, it makes really good sense. I just haven't thought about that way. So I appreciate it.
It always confused me early on when I was getting grants. I said, well, gosh, the stock market did so well. This last, yeah, it was doing so. She says, yeah, but we're funded by the stock market 2 years ago. And it went down 20%. So, we'll catch up with you in a year and a half. I'm going, wait a second, I need it now.
Yeah.
I think we work together, and I think what Jackie said is right on. And I think it's just the idea of, and I think the collective and common capacities that are being built here are so important to use and not have to duplicate them if you don't have to. See, Artie? So it's just being aware of it. That's all. I'm just kind of ringing a bell to make sure that people know that the world isn't as nice as it used to be, if it ever was, right? Next.
Well, we were gonna have a drive update, but already had to leave a little early, so I don't have that unless anyone else wants to give an update they know of. We can use this last few minutes to have any agenda that you have, any questions you have, any organizational updates, program updates that you'd like to share. You're more than welcome to do so now. Esther, it's good to see you here. I hope you're doing better.
Hi there. I'm not doing better. Y'all can still keep praying for
Sorry.
me.
You need food? Jan has food. I can bring drinks.
Maybe alcohol will kill this. I don't know.
No.
Maybe I should try something different.
Kill a sunrise.
Oh. Sorry, you're not feeling it.
Last night for my book club that has to make a return. So we do need a gathering with food and drink soon. All right, friends. Well, thank you all for filling out that executive director feedback survey that I sent out last week. I'm going to go through the results and I will do a mini report and send it out in the newsletter for you guys to see kind of the pulse of where folks were, some ideas that they had. And yeah, we'll just continue to talk about that and see how we can implement it in the new year. And we'll just keep checking away. So it's good to see you.
Allison, just start talking.
No, I was trying to be polite and raise my hand. I just wanted to say that we had the privilege of being on the cover of the Fresno Business Journal 2 days ago. And it says turning renters into homeowners. So it's just a real honor that our business organ, magazine is really focused on, the work that we're doing in Southwest Fresno. So please, if you get a chance to read it, it would be great. And I look forward to partnering with you all on this and so you guys can help us to make this a successful initiative. We're meeting with the city to go through our contracting process. So very hopeful about that. So just wanted to let you all know and to thank Keith again for the grant we just received that really helps to stabilize our small organization. That's it.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Could you, Allison, would you maybe send that to Andy or send that link out?
That'd be great.
I sent it to her and to Keith this morning, so I sent a PDF of it. So, but it,
Good job. Good job, good job.
thank you. Now the work really begins. Right, so it's, since once you state it, it kind of becomes more real. A lot of work ahead. Thank you.
As we're gonna be entering the holiday period, I want to wish everybody a happy Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and all those kinds of things, and health.
Same to everybody. God bless you all.
Same to you, Keith. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
I'm getting it.
She's with the South Fresno Development Corporation. So that used to be,
Yeah, so she's with Southwest. It used to be Lynn.
Lynn Jones, and before that it was a series of